Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm of course Lemon himself, and that was Crash, who was trying to give me some kisses. And this is my review for Scream 6, the latest entry into the Scream franchise, obviously. And they gave out these cool little posters at the theater, so I decided to put it in the background. I thought it'd be pretty cool. But before we get into that review, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm gonna need you to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment below and let me know your thoughts on Scream 6, as all three of those things help me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it if you did that. Also, head over to the community tab, as we are doing our Lemon March Madness tournament. Round 2 kicks off tomorrow on the 10th, so be on the lookout for that. And also tomorrow, You Season 4 Part 2 is coming out. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into the review. I said this in my Out of the Theater, and I even sent a tweet about it. Like, it's been a long time, and I mean a long time. I'm actually having a hard time thinking about the movie that has kept me on my toes this much throughout the whole entire movie. So for those of you who know what the Scream franchise is, it's a whodunit pretty much. You're trying to guess who the killer is or killers throughout the whole entire movie, of who is all involved, who's doing all the killing. And I literally changed my pick every single time. I'm pretty sure at one point I was like Randy Meeks in the first movie, where I was like, everyone's a suspect. Everyone. Every single person is on my list right now. So, of course, at some point, I picked the killer. Or killers. But that's what happens when you pick everyone at some point throughout the whole entire movie. And that is one of the strong points of this movie, man. Like, it just really keeps you on your toes. And you're always second guessing. Like, once you lock in someone, then you're like, well, I'm not so sure. I mean, this person's a little suspect too. But this movie is much more than that. It's much more than just keeping you on your toes. It's just the lessons and the themes that they show throughout this whole movie that deals with how people deal with trauma, how people go about it differently, and those coping mechanisms that they go through. Is shown great by not just the storytelling and the directing. It's also within the acting, within Jenna Ortega and I cannot remember the real main girl's name. She plays Sam Carpenter. I cannot remember the actress' name. I am so sorry. And then there's the way how they both went in different complete paths, because Sam is very much, let's talk about it, let's face it head on, and that way we can move forward from there. As Tara, played by Jenna Ortega, is very much, no, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just go. Let's just keep it moving forward. And then also within the others who also survived there's also Mindy and Chad, who's played by Mason Gooding. God dang, man, I'm just looking like a real true guy review guy, because I can't remember some of the female actresses' names, but the guy, I got you, buddy. Man, I'm so sorry for the main four people in this film. Apologies. Anyway, all their ways how they were dealing with the coping of the mechanisms of the trauma that they went through within the previous year was very cool to see. And it's also really evident with Gail as well. Now, to address the elephant in the room with Sydney. Because, as we know, Sydney is not in this movie because for some reason they didn't want to pay the woman, even though she's literally the fucking franchise. You do feel her presence not there. You do. But it's Sidney Prescott. Of course, you weren't going to feel her presence even if you knew she was going to be in it or not. Like, I also felt the lack of Dewey. I did. But I will also say this. They weren't needed. They weren't needed. Now, Dewey, obviously not, because, he died in the previous one. But Sydney, I can't think of any story element or beat. I can see some areas where you could have introduced her, but I could also see it just getting really messy if you did introduce her. So whatever script they had with her in it, I'm sure it would have been fine. But with her not in it, I don't really think this movie missed a beat at all. Like, yes, I missed her presence, and I did want to see her, but yet I am able to just recognize, yeah, no, you didn't really need her with whatever story beats that you went through it. Now, look, my first thought coming out of this movie, literally as I was walking out of the theater, and I even said it on my TikTok page. That's where I'll do all my out of the theater reactions. So go ahead and head to my TikTok. It's at Lemon Studios as well. Just give a little follow there, a little cheap plug. My first thought was this. Is WWE Champion. No, it is my favorite movie of the year. For those who know, usually when this belt is present, that means it is the best movie of the year to me so far. It always gets redone at the beginning of the year, so by January comes, the title will be vacated, and then, you know, the circle of life moves on. As right now, on March 9th, 2023, Scream is my favorite movie of the year. Previously held by Creed 3. So Creed 3, you had a hell of a run. 1 week is what you had. 1 week and a day, because I got to see you early. But yeah, man, now look, there are problems with it. I don't expect Scream 6 to be my favorite movie of the year, but I have problems with all the Scream movies. Like in the first one, why did Sydney still have sex with Billy if she was still suspecting him to be the killer? Like that was just really odd to me. I could go on and on with all 6 of them, really. And I can't really get too deep within the story elements with Scream 6 with the problems I have because they're very spoilery-ish, but I will give brief synopsis of each one. There is a story beat in Scream 5 that I was not a fan of at all. And they continue it on in here. And again, it's minorly spoilerish, so I'm just not gonna talk about it. And I appreciate the continuity. I do. But to me, it doesn't work. I don't like it. It's a little too cartoony-ish for me, personally. I'm not a fan of that story beat. I have a problem with that. 2, the use of Gale. Now, when Courtney Cox is in and Gale Weathers is on screen, it is Gale. I ain't gonna lie. But her story element and her story beat that brings her in and how she interacts, what causes the chemistry between each character, was not a fan. It kind of undermines her development as a character throughout all 6 movies. Now, on that same coin, on the flip side of it, you could say, well, some people, again, it's a little spoilerish, but how Gale's character was introduced with stuff that she did off screen was not a fan. I was not a fan of it. And of course, there's other things as well, but again, it's really too spoilerish, and I'm just not going to drag it on too much longer. So yes, did I have a great time with this movie? Yes. Did I have to just sit on it for a minute and just take it in due to how much was going on? Yes. I mean, even from the get-go, I'm just like, what? I mean, it's it's probably the best opening in all the Scream movies, in all honesty. And honestly, I'm gonna say a bold fame here, and it's gonna be unpopular. This might be my favorite out of all 6, including the original. It's definitely my favorite of the sequels, for sure, absolutely. But it might top the original for me. I don't know. That's just me. So if I had to rank it on the lemon scale, again, it is my favorite movie of the year. It is a freshly squeezed lemonade because, again, there are problems with it. And for those of you who don't know, freshly squeezed lemonade is right under the top rating here, which is a strawberry lemonade because that is the best kind of lemonade. But yeah, due to some of the problems that I had with Gale, just as a development as a character, a story beat that gets carried on from 5 to 6 that I wasn't a huge fan on, along with some other things that are just too spoilerish for me to even bring up. I just can't give it that strawberry lemonade, but man, I had such a hell of a ride with this movie. I mean, all departments were on it: directing, screenwriting, acting, lighting, set design, setting, aura, extras. Even the extras were absolutely phenomenal in this movie too. There's always something to look at. I love this movie. I do. It's just not a perfect movie, and you know, that's completely fine. But yeah, have you had a chance to see Scream 6? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.